Hey, welcome everybody. A very early start to our show because that game flew by. I guess that's what happens when one team dominates the other. They just want to get that shit over with. So we come to you live immediately following the Golden State Warriors and their home finale going about as you'd expect given how this season has been going. The LA Lakers dominating from start to finish. Final score 119-103. Frank Red of In the Dungeon is going to join me in a little bit. But yeah, this was a dud. I'm going to save I have some potentially breaking news, but I'm going to save that for tomorrow night's show. And it's an interesting piece of information I got, but that's called the 24-hour tease. On tonight's show, we'll get to the mailbag. Today was a historical day of significance for your Golden State Warriors. We'll go back into the time machine to explain what I mean. Again, Frank Red, he played D1 basketball. He knows his shit. He's good friends with Billy Donovan, head coach of the Bulls. He's going to join us in moments. Frank, get off the couch and come join me. I'm just teasing. I don't know what he's doing right now. Maybe I should just text him and remind him that this game ended as early as it did. Just a quick little nudge. So Frank's going to join us in just a second. Got a new interactive feature where the live audience is going to decide who our FanDuel player of the game is. Well, nice little poll. Let's have some fun. We are powered by FanDuel, and the program is called the Golden Days. Hey now.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Welcome to the program. My name is Cyrus Saatsaz, coming to you live from the Golden Days studios in Northern California, where the Golden State Warriors play. You can follow me, Cyrus Saatsaz, on Threads and Instagram @DogWild. Over on Twitter, my handle is @SurfJournalist. The program on both platforms @Golden Days Pod. Real quick, let's get a weather update on San Francisco. This was the final home game of the season for your Dubs. Fans are pouring out of Chase Center right now. What can they expect?
San Francisco is once again the smuggiest city in the country. A smuggy day in San Francisco town.
A usual heavy smug over the city of San Francisco. But meanwhile, I hope everyone's safe and sound wherever you are at in this crazy world. Our FanDuel player of the game. Actually, before I get to the FanDuel player of the game, let me quickly check out the FanDuel Sportsbook to see if Warriors Kings has a line already. Worth mentioning, by the way, Ryan Ward of Lakers on SI joined me yesterday. It was a great show. And it was funny that the line for the Warriors and Lakers tonight was not available at that point. When it finally did come out, the Warriors opened as 4.5-point favorites for tonight's game over the LA Lakers. I mean, look, both teams have injury issues, but for whatever reason, the bookies thought the Warriors should have been favored. Now, granted, that line was posted before Stephen Curry was listed as out, but the Warriors finished the line for that game. I'm sorry, before it tipped off, moved to the Warriors favored by -1.5, and the Lakers win by 16. So the Warriors don't cover the spread. And if you bet on the Lakers money line, congratulations. The line is out for tomorrow's Warriors Kings game, where the Warriors are reportedly expecting Stephen Curry, Guy Santos, and Tingus Pingus. I should have had the soundbite ready for that. Forgive me for that faux pas on my part. Let me repeat that one more time. Tomorrow, Warriors Kings. Stephen Curry, not 100% confirmed, but most likely going to play tomorrow. Same for Guy Santos, and same for
Tingus Pingus.
Oh, and I see Frank Red in the green room. He joins us now. Frank, great to see you, bud. I was just updating the audience on real quickly the line for tomorrow's Warriors-Kings game. And the Warriors are going to go into Golden One Center tomorrow, 11.5-point favorites over the Sacramento Kings, the second to last game of the year. If you think the Kings are going to pull off the upset, the money line for that is plus 420. The OU 230.5. That is courtesy of FanDuel, the official sports book of Golden Days and the Believe Network. And I am elated to welcome our guest for the evening. He hosts a program called In the Dungeon, but then it ain't spelled like how you'd expect. In is actually spelled E-N. The is spelled T-H-A. And I'm trying to find your visual graphic. And then dungeon is actually spelled like dungeon. Frank, great to see you, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. And thank you for inviting me. And
yeah,
it's always fun, man. Regardless of the outcome of the game, you and I generally get together and just talk about the Warriors and find new angles that haven't been discovered yet. So I'm looking forward.
Yeah, if those angles exist. Let's start here, Frank, because you have this I don't know what percentage of the Warriors fan base feels like this, but they're a loud bunch, and you have this certain sect who are passionate about wanting the Warriors to win the play-in tournament and go into the playoffs. That, to me, is one of the dumbest ideas imaginable. Tonight was yet another reminder of that, for the simple reason that the Warriors' best players, at least most of them, just chose to duck the smoke tonight. This was the first of a back-to-back, and players like Steph, players like Tingus, players like, I mean, Guy Santos is banged up, but even Guy Santos, the Warriors are choosing to save their better players, and this has been a pattern all season long, and where they're ducking the smoke in terms of better opponents. They want these players to be available for the weaker of the back-to-backs, most likely because they're afraid of being embarrassed and being run out the gym, and they're afraid of injuries. And if you're afraid of those kinds of things, playing an NBA game, don't try to make the playoffs with OKC awaiting you. I think that is an absolute disaster. Ryan Ward of Lakers on SI was on this show yesterday, and we were talking at great length about just what one game that the Lakers experienced playing the Thunder did to them. That one game knocked Luka out indefinitely. That one game knocked Austin Reeves out indefinitely. And if that Lakers team has no chance in hell against the Thunder, I don't know what you're smoking that makes you believe that Wardell can pull some rabbit out of a hat against the Thunder. No chance in hell. I think that a series like that would do nothing but damage his legacy. I'm also holding on to the faith that the Warriors are not dumb enough to actually try and win the play-in tournament genuinely. And I'm going to hold on to that faith, because the alternative, again, to me just makes no sense whatsoever. Frank, let's start there, man. Are you rooting for the Warriors to win the play-in? And what's your message to folks on either side of that aisle?
Absolutely not. I mean, I look at the team and they need an injection of talent. So I don't want them to lose any position in the draft. So
right.
That's my thing. Secondly, I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because I think the Warriors are one of the teams in the NBA that really does try to uphold the standard and at least go out and put forth effort. I'm okay with that, because they're really not good enough to match up against the teams that they're going to play. So I'm glad they don't just, I'm going to use a bad analogy, but bend over and just tank as worst as they possibly can. They actually go out and try to play, but the worst case scenario would be for this team to play against OKC in a 1-8 matchup. That would be horrific. It's not going to happen. I don't want to see it. No,
same. I'm hoping that the Warriors are smart enough to understand what a cataclysmic scenario that could be. Never mind the fact that OKC is a genuine juggernaut. Like they are just a smidge below where the Warriors, Bulls, like the Lakers and Celtics of the 80s, the Celtics of the 60s. I'm talking like all of the true elite teams that we've seen in the NBA, early 2000s Lakers, Spurs, for a decade and a half. And the Thunder are knocking on that door. Like they're not there yet, but they're knocking. The win total that they're compiling for over these last two seasons, regular season wise, the only teams in NBA history that have won more than what OKC has won last year and this year combined with regular season wins are your 2015 to 17 Golden State Warriors, or maybe it was 14 to 16, and then the Chicago Bulls from 95 to 97. And the Thunder are knocking at that door. And it's just, it would be like, to me, it'd be like witnessing a bloodbath. And we're just going to have to just do nothing except watch it. And I don't know, man. And one last thing, if the Warriors make the playoffs, you're losing 4 draft spots. Right. You're out of the running for a lottery pick. And we're going to miss out on who the Warriors would send up as the representative for the lottery. I know that's a trivial thing to look forward to, but I'm actually curious, like, who Joe Lacob would put up there. I can't remember who they did last time. I think it was Chris Mullin, if memory serves correct. But anyways, I don't want it to get to that point. Yet for whatever reason, most media folks in the Bay Area are not addressing that talking point. And I think it's kind of wild, man. It's like what happened to pragmatism and common sense? Please don't get into the playoffs, Warriors. Anyways, I'm done spieling. I apologize. Any final thoughts on that topic?
I mean, it's just I don't get fans. I really don't. Just random fandom. I don't understand it. Now, I understand people who know basketball who happen to be fans. If you are informed and you are really following this team, no way in hell do you want them to be in the playoffs. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, as you said, their best player is 38, and he's playing like he's 32 or 33. You want to save that until next year when they have a legitimate chance to go out and compete.
Yes, 100% agree with you on that. Every time I'm seeing Steph out there now, it's like I'm anxious. It's just there's nothing comfortable about any of this. Real quick, we haven't announced who our FanDuel player of the game is, and we have a poll because tonight I don't think there's a clear-cut winner, and I'm going to let the audience decide this. I also don't know where I should position this poll. Should it go up there? No, that covers Frank. Should it go up there? No, that covers my noggin. That covers Frank again. I'll just put it down here. This is our poll question for the night. Who is our FanDuel player of the game? Your 3 nominees are Nate Williams. And this will give us a chance as well to hear from Frank's analysis of these 3 players. And we'll start with Big Nate, who, because of the 2-way contract, I still have not figured out the specific logistics of why Nate's only been eligible to play something like 10 2-way games. Unless he's already like hit his mark playing for other teams. I haven't done enough homework on that. Forgive me. But that's why we're not seeing him on a night-by-night basis. And when we do see him, Frank, I don't know how you feel, but Nate Williams looks like a real NBA player. And he was one of the very few bright spots tonight for the Golden State Warriors. He played 34 minutes, 32 seconds. And this is my vote as well. And again, audience, you could vote in the chat. Just put a number for who you think should win it. 1 is Nate Williams. 2 is Brandon Podziemski. 3 is Charles Bassey. And we'll break down each of the nominees. Again, Nate Williams, 34 minutes, 32 seconds playing tonight, 7 of 13 from the field, 3 of 6 from deep. That 3-point shot has been the one part of his game that has not been consistent in this brief sample size we've witnessed this season. But when tonight it fell, 50% of his shots from beyond the arc went in, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, did unfortunately have 4 turnovers, but a lot of Warriors players did. Tied for the team lead in scoring tonight with 17 points. Frank, what has been your thoughts when you've been watching Nate Williams? I don't think I've had you on the show since he started playing for the Warriors. So what's your takeaway? What's your scouting report?
He frustrates me because he's an NBA talent. And when I see players with NBA talent, I want them to win. And, you know, if he reminds me of Guy Santos like 2 or 3 years ago. Guy Santos has really mentally, I think, risen as much as his physical attributes. His mental game has really improved. And Nate Williams, I watched him since he played on Memphis. This guy is long-armed. He's competitive. He doesn't back down. But some nights, like tonight, he had 4 crucial turnovers. Those 4 turnovers that he had were literally game-changing turnovers. And you saw Steve Kerr on the bench just kind of go, what the hell is going on? Because from a mental perspective, the difference between an NBA player and an NBA talent is mental consistency. It's why a guy like Brandon Porzingis looks really good against average NBA players because he's generally smarter than most NBA players. So I'm not going to kill Nate because he's flashed. I want him to win. But you can't come out there and play a mental game like he did tonight. It really disappointed me because he's an NBA talent. There's no doubt about that. But mentally, I thought he was terrible tonight.
Terrible. Nate?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Again, because I think that the Lakers were vulnerable. I mean, LeBron came in. LeBron really turned back the clock and led his team and gave them confidence, and they took the game over. But again, when I see a talent like Nate Williams, who's kind of been on the bottom for a while, I want to see him step up and lead these guys, because where are you going to get 30-some-odd minutes on an NBA team with an opportunity to show an organization that you belong? So I'm hard on him because I believe in him, not because I think he sucks. I'm hard on him because I think that he has what it takes, but you can't come out there and not show up from a mental perspective when you have an opportunity.
Good point. No, I respect, and I love the fact that you've been following his career since Memphis. He's very new on my radar. I hadn't really known much about him until this season, and I started reading reports about how good he was playing for the Long Island Nets, the Brooklyn G League affiliate, and then the Warriors snapped them up. Other teams were reportedly interested, and again, I respect your scouting reports, Frank, to no end. Again, you played D1 hoops. You know the sport. You know the game. We're going to talk about your buddy Billy Donovan in a little bit. But your scouting report on Quinton Post about 2 years ago still resonates. I repeated routinely, and it was accurate. It rang true. The narrow shoulders, Frank. The narrow shoulders. Like, so you have no idea how many people now associate that with Quinton Post. They can't unsee it, and it's all thanks to you. Bravo, sir. FanDuel player of the game nominee number 2 tonight was Brandon Podziemski. The only surprising part from my perspective for Podziemski tonight was the minutes. He only played 24 minutes and 1 second. Part of me is wondering if Steve Kerr did that to save his energy for tomorrow night, where they're apparently, for whatever reason, going all in at Sacramento, and they didn't want to do that in their home finale tonight. We could talk about that in a little bit as well. I thought that was a little that just smelled foul. It's like you're going to throw your home fans under the bus and give Sacramento a chance to enjoy all the good players. I don't get it, but we'll talk about it in a second. Podziemski tonight tied for the team lead in scoring with Nate Williams, both players scoring 17. He was just 1 of 5 from deep. That's not good. His shooting from inside the three-point line, his 2-point shooting was much better. He was 6 of 9 from inside the three-point line, 1 of 5 from outside. Only had 1 assist, and that's the number that just routinely drives me up the wall. It's like I don't understand why he cannot actually get those assist numbers. They're routinely low, and my critique, and maybe this is a good chance to hear from you on this, Frank, but my critique of Podziemski and my theory for why his assist numbers are bad and why he routinely draws the ire of his teammates by missing them when they're wide open. This has happened multiple times this season. I just think he's got a vision issue. And I don't know if that has to do with peripherals. I don't know if it has to do with spatial awareness. But when it comes to just seeing what's on the court in real time and being a split second ahead of defenses, he doesn't have that. Like that's a problem. Anyway, so he's our candidate number 2, though, largely because he tied for the team lead in scoring tonight with 17. You mentioned that Podziemski, Frank, is high IQ in your opinion. What else is your takeaway for Pods this season and tonight?
I actually liked his game tonight. And the reason why I liked his game is because I think that he knew the assignment. Part of the reason why, first of all, there's no excuse for him not to pass the ball to his teammates when they're open, and they are fundamentally better players. When he's out there with better players, they need to get the ball. He has this, talk about smug. This is the guy who would go into like a Hollywood screencast or audition against Brad Pitt and think he's going to get the position. He's going to get the role. That's his irrational confidence. And I think that gets him in trouble because, he's not that guy. He thinks he's that guy. He's not that guy. Part of it is because Curry's giving him the confidence. But when I watch him, he's had a pretty darn good stretch at proving that he's an NBA player. He doesn't really affect winning. But when he's out there playing, I see him now. He gets to the basket a lot more consistently than he ever has in his career before. He also has clearly worked on his shot. His shot is better. He's making more open shots. I looked at his stats tonight. He averages 14 points a game. He shoots 46% from the field and around 38% from three-point range. So you can
37, but yeah.
37.5. I saw it. You can coach up not passing to your teammates. You can coach that up. The locker room can control that. But I got to give him credit. I think this has been a year of sustainability for him. I actually think he probably deserves an extension. I do. I do.
Wow.
Yeah.
So even though he's getting a big chunk of minutes for a lot of these nights where he's getting these scoring opportunities, and even though the assist numbers are, in my opinion, abysmal, you think he should get an extension? The
reason why I think he should get an extension is because when I evaluate him, I see him as a 8th or 9th player. Now, I had some crazy numbers about what that extension should be. I was talking 15. No, I don't think so. But I think somewhere between 7 and 10 million a year for a guy who's going to play all 82 games, for a guy who can go out there and prove that he can play with other good players. A lot of bad players, because mentally they don't understand the game, they can't play with really good players. Brandon can do that. That was Kerr's problem with Kuminga. And they never got that right. But he can play with good players. He's proven that.
Can you elaborate on that? I don't quite follow what that means exactly, because when I see Brandon Podziemski playing with other players, again, the assist numbers would reflect that he can play with other players, but he doesn't involve his teammates. After tonight's loss, since March 1st, the Warriors are 1-12 against teams with a 500 or better record. That is awful. And this has been to me like the Podziemski experiment, because he's getting all the minutes. He's now the number one scoring option most nights, because who else is going to take that role if it's not Podziemski? You see Draymond Green having to lecture him routinely. You've seen Porzingis get upset at him multiple times because he was wide open and Podziemski didn't find him. You saw GP2 take a brief umbrage with him because they were fighting as teammates for a rebound, and he was right there for Podziemski to see. Look, $7 million a year, I guess I could stomach that, although I don't think he deserves to make more than Guy Santos, and Guy's making $5 million a year, so I would argue for 5 at the most, but that's just me. But explain to me why you think he's someone who can be on the court, and like why outside of Steve Kerr's opinion on this, like what is Podziemski doing that Kuminga did not?
First of all, I think the Warriors botched the Kuminga thing. That's on them. I love Kuminga, but there's some real inner conversations around why that thing didn't work, and I'd love to talk to you about that. But here's the thing. The Warriors don't run a traditional offense. Draymond Green is the de facto point guard. So their assist comes off of ball movement and player movement. So no one's ever going to average a whole lot of assists with the Warriors. The most assists that Stephen Curry's ever averaged is probably 7 or 8 a game, because that's just not their offense.
Right.
Brandon Podziemski, he has a problem with, again, having too much confidence and having he overvalues himself as a basketball player. And part of that is because Kerr has given him more rope than any role player in the history of the Warriors. That's on Kerr. Now, year 3, Brandon Podziemski knows better. Right now, without having Steph and Jimmy Butler and some of these other guys, he's looking at those guys saying, you know what, I love them. They're my teammates, but they're G League players. I'm better than these guys. So he's taking more risks. And sometimes he has some really good games, but he needs to pass the ball to his teammates. I think that I can see success in his game through the losses. The fact that the Warriors are not winning, I don't think it's because he's not getting the job done. I would say more it's because they have a limited amount of talent. I can pick apart so many of their players. I mean, Porzingis is cooked. That dude is cooked. You know, so many of these guys are not NBA players. He is an NBA player, but a lot of these guys are not NBA players. I respect them, but they're just simply not.
Yeah, and do you? So let me ask you this: do you think who's better in your opinion, Guy Santos or Brandon Podziemski?
I wouldn't compare them because they do different things.
Okay.
Geek Santos, I'm very proud of him. I think that he has worked on his game, and when you don't respect him, he makes you play. He makes you pay. He's not making as many mental mistakes. Again, he looks like a guy who can be the 7th or 8th guy in a 9-man rotation on a good team. I'm very proud of him,
Yeah.
So I have nothing but good things to say about Gee. He needs to continue to improve his mental game. He fouls a little bit too much, but talk about improvement. He's improved his game 50, 60, 70%, and the Warriors rewarded him because of that. I think he's been great.
Yeah. I just want to, going back to Podziemski, I just wish those assist numbers would go up. And a huge reason why it draws my ire is because I do these post-game shows every night. I'm looking at these box scores every night. And for whatever reason, like nearly every other player on this team can get more assists than him. Case in point tonight, Pat Spencer, 6 assists. Nate Williams, 3 assists. Draymond Green, 6 assists. DeAnthony Melton, 2 assists, and Melton did that in 14 minutes. Podziemski's routinely like at the bottom of his compared to his teammates. I don't see it, Frank. I do not see, like, I guess what I'm trying to say here with Podziemski, and maybe this provides the most context, if Podziemski is on any of the other 29 NBA teams, I don't see him getting run on another squad. I had like the Believe in Hawks host Bryce Lewis on the show a few weeks back when we did a couple shows because Kuminga went there and wanted to exchange just ideas and have a good crossover experience. And we were talking about Podziemski, and I was asking him, like, who's the comp on the Hawks? Because everyone like has this general impression of Podziemski. Like, there is the narrative version of Podziemski, which is that, well, Steve Kerr trusts them, and so a lot of people immediately assume that he's got a higher IQ than maybe he does. Maybe he has a high IQ. I don't know. Stephen Curry clearly likes him. I don't think he'd be getting the type of run that he does if if Stephen Curry did not like him. Side note, Frank, I'd love to know your thoughts the other night when Podziemski was just standing there staring at rocks as Draymond Green's like calling for him to set his screen so Stephen Curry can have some space to put up a game-winning 3, and instead Podziemski just standing there. It's just that's plays like that, or even where like the high IQ thing. I don't know. I don't agree with that. I don't even know if that's true. But Corey Kispert was the comp that Bryce Lewis gave me in terms of a player on the Hawks that maybe is in this on the same level, right? In terms of just overall talent. The amount of minutes maybe this guy deserves. And Corey Kispert, I'd still take him. He's got 4 inches on Podziemski. I think he's got a better 3-point shot. He's a better maybe a better rebounder. But in your opinion, like what is Podziemski playing on any other team? Because that's to me the barometer for why I think if you just let him go, that's okay. I don't think you're losing much, but that's just me.
I think that, again, everybody needs a cheerleader. All right? Steve Kerr is his cheerleader. If you look at him and you judge him against other players, he's probably not going to play. If you look at him and you ask, well, what kind of system can he play in? He could probably play in Boston. He could probably play in Philly as a backup guard. He has a lot of talented players. He can play with talented players. He really can.
What makes you believe that, though? Just because he's on the court with Steph?
No, because I mean, okay, like for example, one of the real important plays, and the Warriors screwed this up at least 5, 6, 7 times tonight. A simple play that I teach young kids: when your backcourt mate drives to the basket, instinctively you should run to half court because you're the last line of defense, right? Why do you think Brandon Podziemski gets so many charges? Because he's in the right position. You know what I'm saying? I do. I mean, those are winning plays. How many times tonight did LeBron or whomever just get a rebound and run down the court because some Warrior missed a shot on the other end? That's a simple basketball IQ play
I know.
Should not happen. So
I just laugh when you say it's a winning play because they're not actually winning any of these games, even though he's doing these things. It's like it's a hustle play. Like I don't question his hustle. I don't question his effort. And one thing I routinely compliment is the durability. The fact that he's played every game, the fact that Kerr can count on him at all times, undoubtedly is a huge factor and a huge variable in why he gets the run that he does. Frank, and I'll finish the Podziemski discussion on this note. If Kerr's not back next year, and side note, that's a little wink tease for what I'm going to reveal on tomorrow night's show following the Warriors and Kings. If Steve Kerr's not back next year, I suddenly have a lot more faith that that's not going to happen. And again, stay tuned tomorrow night. Then what are your thoughts on Podziemski? Because I feel like the Podziemski roller coaster is being driven by Steve Kerr. So without Kerr, what's going on with Pods and the Warriors?
I think he probably doesn't get the extension that he wants. I think that he's in a position where he has to adjust his game and prove himself again to the new coach. But I think if Terry Stotts gets the head job, if they hire Terry Stotts, then he has a relationship there. And again, I think he is playing coy sometimes. And again, he's that kid. He's that little kid who, the teacher is telling the kid that the parent that the child is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and he's behind the parent because the parent is just giving it to the teacher, telling the teacher that you're all wrong about my kid, and really, I mean, everybody knows that the kid is doing a little bit more than he should be doing. So my point is with Pods, I think Pods is taking advantage of the rope. I do believe that
easily, yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
As a result, he's able to go out on the court and do these things because he knows that Kerr's going to go back to him because Kerr wants him to win. Kerr wants this guy to win more than anything. Why?
Yes, he does.
Because he sees himself.
Yes. Yeah.
He sees himself.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And so far right now, in terms of counting the vote in the chat for who our FanDuel player of the game is tonight, incredibly, option number 3 is winning. Side note for the person in the chat that said, well, you can post the poll in the chat as well. Yeah, but the audience can't see it on the screen. That's a huge reason why I'm doing the visual thing here. And maybe I'll never do this thing again. This is the first time I've ever done this, Frank. But option number 3 is Charles Bassey, a player that played just his 3rd game with the Golden State Warriors tonight. He's on a 10-day deal. And I don't know where Bassey came from either. I've never heard of this guy once before the Warriors signed him. But talking about a guy that looks the part. Nate Williams with the long arms, the physique. Charles Bassey looks like a real NBA big. And tonight, more of the positivity from this guy. He plays 29 minutes, 48 seconds, 12 points, a team high 13 rebounds. And he's been dominating the glass since he got here, adds an assist, adds 2 blocks. Frank, I always love your scouting reports. What are your thoughts on Charles Bassey? Again, he's only played 3 games for the Warriors, but he is making quite an impression so far.
Very impressed with him. Actually, I thought his energy level was not quite as robust as it was in the previous 2 games.
Agreed.
No, I've watched him since he came out of Western Kentucky, so I know about Bassey as well. He actually impressed me because he lasted 2 or 3 years in San Antonio, which means that he was open to excellent coaching and the fundamentals of the game.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that he's playing well with the Warriors. I guarantee you, Steve Kerr and the Warriors have pretty good scouts and they got a lot of relationships. They probably called San Antonio. I know he was recently on Boston, but Boston's is another high IQ organization. And they were like, you know what? We love this guy. We just don't have any room for him. So, yeah, take him. So I'm hoping that he takes advantage of this opportunity. He's been around a little bit. But in terms of physical ability, yeah, he checks all the boxes. The challenge that a lot of these NBA players have, and you see the guy Cater, who was on Sacramento. Sacramento cut Cater.
Yes.
This guy went to Boston and took upon their mentality and their philosophy, and now he's getting ready to get a $50 or $60 million contract based on effort alone. So Bassey, has a real chance. I mean, he makes Quentin Post look like a JUCO player. I mean, he does. He's so much more productive.
You're right.
You know, so I'm big on him.
I wish the Warriors were this open-minded about bigs sooner. It's a shame that they waited until the season just completely cratered before they're like, let's just try out some bigs now. Like let's trade for Kristaps Porzingis, even though he's never going to be available. Let's try out this Charles Bassey guy that looks like a real NBA big. Side note for folks unfamiliar with Bassey's background, he was born in Lagos, Nigeria. Started as a soccer player, so if you see good footwork out there, it's largely because basketball was not his first sport. He moves to the United States at the age of 14. So kind of a background like Jonathan Kuminga. Plays at various high schools, goes to college, as you mentioned, at Western Kentucky. That's not the only school he went to, though, was it? He went to – hold on. I'm doing my – oh, yeah, it is. It was just played at Western Kentucky. Played for the Sixers his rookie year. That was the same year that the Warriors won their last championship. Played for the Spurs, as you mentioned, Frank, for a couple years. Played for the Grizzlies in 2025. He actually has had some good numbers. It's not like he came out of nowhere, but and he stands 6'10", 230 pounds. One of the highlights of his career when he was playing with was it San Antonio? I was just doing some research on him, and it showed, and I saw something that showed he had a season where he averaged almost 15 points a game. Where did that go? Here it is. Oh, in his second year with the Spurs, he played 35 games, started 2 of them, and averaged 14.5 points per game, 5.5 rebounds. So, no, I stand correct. I'm sorry. He averaged 14.5 minutes per game. I got all excited there. He averaged 5.7 points per game, averaged 4.3 points per game in his career. And here we are now in 2026 with Charles Bassey making quite the impression. Again, he wins the vote, democratically selected as our FanDuel player of the game. Frank, is there any possibility that Charles Bassey is back with the Warriors next season? I know that's looking way ahead, but
no, absolutely. I mean, he's going to be a minimum veteran salary guy, so you need productive players on low salaries. Theoretically, he could even be a two-way player. I don't know if there's any rules stipulating if you have X amount of years in NBA, you can't be a two-way player. I don't know. But fiscally, that would work for the Warriors to be able to have him on a two-way deal and then maybe convert his contract if he plays extremely well. But, no, he has a really good chance when you consider what he does. This guy's a solid defensive rebounder, kind of a rim protector. Like I said before, his success meter will be energy. Mm-hmm. You can never have a bad game from an energy perspective. You cannot shoot the ball well, but you got to put forth that energy. A guy like Steve Kerr and his coaches, they're looking for things like that. And it'll be interesting. I won't spoil anything, so I'll only watch the program tomorrow to see if you drop some knowledge on Kerr. But I think if Kerr can come back, Kerr's looking for those intangibles, and I think he has a boatload of those that could help him become gainfully employed with the Warriors next year.
Riz in our chat adding some context, saying that if Big Al Horford and Tingus Pingus were available, we likely would not be seeing Charles Bassey. Same premise for LJ Cryer, a player who had missed numerous games. I think he was dealing with illness or I don't know what was going on. There, lack of transparency there in terms of some reports on LJ Cryer. But I bring him up because in addition to the fact that, like Bassey, he's getting some opportunities now because of all the injuries. He finished the game tonight, 8 points, 2 of 5 shooting from deep, but he went down with an injury. Did you get a chance to see like how severe was that? Like a serious injury? Was that an ankle roll? Like, do you have information on that? I'm gonna look it up right now.
I mean, I saw the play and he was clearly in pain.
Yeah.
But before they went to commercial, he raised his hands to his teammates to help him off the court. So I'm thinking that it might be a pretty tough ankle injury, but I don't think there's any like surgery stuff like that. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. So I think it's a sprained ankle. But
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
information.
Ankle is what I'm seeing as well as the diagnosis. That's one of the best case scenarios, man, when it comes to injuries, because
It is.
ankle rolls. I mean, look, they hurt. They're a bitch, but you don't need surgery in most cases, and typically the healing is just straightforward. Nick Friedel of the Athletic reporting a sprained right ankle for LJ Cryer, and for all we know, man, that was the last time we're ever going to see him in a Warriors uniform, because this season is almost over. Was that a weird home finale to you? I mean, never mind that Steph decides to not play, and then he's expected to play tomorrow, which tells me that him, Kristaps, Porzingis, Guy Santos, who else was out tonight? Will Richard did not play, but I don't know if they're like saving him for the second of a back-to-back. But it was just weird that that these veteran players and or the team chose in a scenario where it's a back-to-back, and a lot of these players don't play back-to-backs, and they went with the road game in Sacramento to show up instead of the home finale. There was something on social media tonight about some fan was claiming that they spent over $3,000 to fly in from Europe for this game specifically to watch Steph, and then he's a late scratch, and this thing started to blow up in the socials. I don't know if the Warriors went out of their way to maybe make them feel better about everything, but it was just it was bizarre. I thought it was very bizarre that for the home finale of a regular season to just treat it like just another regular season game. I don't know. It just whole thing felt off to me. I don't know if you.
I think this is one of the moments in the history of the NBA where David Stern is severely needed. And, I mean, obviously he probably would not be the commissioner at this point. RIP, he's passed. But that David Stern mentality would not allow some of the shenanigans that have happened in this year's NBA season. He just would not allow it for some of the reasons that you spoke to. It was a weird game, but because of analytics and because of how the coaches and the organizations are able to operate, it's almost like par for the course, because the Warriors were going to sit some players. We didn't know who, but there was clearly a dynamic where all of those players were not going to play, and they were going to save some for Sacramento. So, I'm not surprised by it, because we've seen it for multiple teams this year throughout the season.
And even adding to the bizarreness of it is like who's going to watch that game tomorrow? It's in Sacramento. It's not nationally televised. None of that made sense to me. I mean, unless they're just shutting this thing down, unless they've completely waved the white flag and they have no intention of even trying to get out of the plane, which again is between Draymond's words the other night and who they chose to play tonight. Maybe that's the realization they're coming to. I don't know, but I just thought that was kind of bizarre. What is your take on the tanking thing? While we have you on the show tonight, Frank, because this has marred the NBA season, given that a good third of all NBA teams, 10 out of 30, are routinely just finding ways to creatively lose games. And the typical tactic that we've seen time and time and again is starters not playing in the fourth quarter. And a lot of these teams doing it, the entire roster is filled with guys that we don't recognize, like players like Leaky Black, who I'd never heard of until this season, and he's getting like 45-minute games, and maybe he's a bad example, but again, it's just a lot of guys I've never heard of until this year. And Draymond Green was livid about it, and he used an example that turned out to be a bad example. Doug Christie just incompetently calling a timeout, thinking he had one to spare when he didn't. Turns out that was not a tanking maneuver. It was just Doug Christie not doing the proper math with timeouts. But Draymond was incensed because he's been seeing it all season. The Warriors are the 10th seed still, largely because every other team decided to tank. Like Dallas has not been trying to win games. New Orleans has been. They're just bad. But Memphis, Dallas, in terms of teams directly below them, they are in full-on tank mode. And the idea that seems to be gaining traction for what the NBA is going to do next year is making it even odds, I think, for something like the worst 14 teams or the worst 16. I can't remember what the final proposal is going to be, but I think that's what they're going to roll with, where it's just that the worst 16 or 14 teams, I forgot the total number, they're all going to have even odds for the lottery. And I don't know if even that's a solution, but what are your thoughts on the whole tanking fiasco?
I've talked about it a little bit on my show, and I think I got a better solution than that.
Promote your show, by the way. We barely even touched on that real quick. Tell people about the dungeon.
In the dungeon show, I've been doing it for a long time. I do a horrible job promoting the show. I need to do better at that. The people who check it out are so loyal and so gracious and so smart, and I really appreciate it. And we just, we come on and we talk about sports. I do a really good job preparing. My content is strong. We talk about music. I give a movie review every week. So it's a fun show. It's kind of that little show that maybe not a whole lot of people know about, but the people who support the show, I think they like it, and very consistent. And check it out. And the Dungeon Show is spelled a little kooky. Going back to my hip hop roots. I'm an artist as well. You can follow me on X at Big Frank Red, Twitter. And yeah, man, we just have a lot of fun, but we are real focused on content. With regards to tanking, I think they should go back to a rule that they had in the G League. They used to call it the Continental Basketball League before the G League. Whatever the NBA minor leagues was before the G League. What they used to do is they used to reward teams based on point differential. So if you are a quote losing team, if you're a lottery team, and you are consistently getting blowed out, you lose your position. And I think the games would be more competitive if they introduced that component, because teams would know we can't just go out and tank. We have to go out and play. The Warriors really have not been blown out a whole lot this year, regardless of who they put on the floor, because they actually go out and play hard. They don't always play well, but they play hard. So I think the component around point differential for those horrible teams should factor in on where they draft. And what that could potentially do is have some playoff teams that are really good draft high because they are not being punished for winning. If you are losing and you're getting blowed out and you're not competing, you're sitting guys out, you should not be rewarded with a high draft pick, in my opinion.
100% agreed. I hope one rule that is instituted is if a team wins like the lottery and gets a top 3 or 4 pick, that they're not eligible to get that again. Like, could you imagine if Dallas, who's going to finish something like 8th or 9th worst in the NBA this year, could you imagine if they get the number 1 pick again? That's possible. Could happen. Remember the Cavaliers getting a back-to-back-to-back like number ones, and remember who's the massive bust that they drafted? What was that guy's name?
He's from Canada. I know that. He's from Canada with the UNLV.
Anthony.
Yep.
What's that guy's name? I can't remember. And then they got Kyrie though. I mean that one really worked out for him. And then who was the third one? There was also the big who just was. They drafted him, and then he just ended up just being picked at the wrong time. Like, he was a guy who 20 years ago would have been a perfect fit in the NBA, but I forgot his name. God damn it. I'm old man brain farts. Forgive me. Maybe the chat can help us out. Thank you, Money Checkup. Anthony Bennett, who you could make a strong case for being the biggest bust among all number 1 picks of the last 25 years, basically since the turn of the century. Frank, any names you could think of that is a bigger swing and miss for your number 1 pick than Anthony Bennett?
No, he's the biggest.
I would agree. That was just it was one of those where even at the time people were warning Cleveland, like, don't do it. Like, this yeah.
Well, no, but that was a terrible draft though. That's true. I mean, there were really no good choices in that draft. That was one of those drafts that when you look like 2, 3, 4 years down the road, damn, their entire first round was out of the league. Barely anybody made it.
And a friendly reminder that some drafts are awful, some drafts are incredible. Right. And it's not difficult to prognosticate this ahead of time. And I bring this up as a friendly reminder again for folks who are going to be If you end up being disappointed that the Warriors don't get out of the play-in, don't be. Like that will be the best news imaginable, because now the Warriors will be in the running for, again, a top 4 pick, hell, even the number 1 pick. But at the bare minimum, you finish with the 11th pick, and you could get something good there. Have you been studying the college game enough to know what could fall to the Warriors at 11 if that's what they end up with?
Yes.
Enlighten, please.
Yaxo Lindenberg, Big Ten Player of the Year out of Michigan. Someone might take him earlier, but I think that if the Warriors can fall somewhere between 9 and 12, he's the guy to me. To me, he's the guy. Unless there's some European player that I don't know about, the Warriors have been scouting who might be pretty good. Yaxo Lindenberg is, I think, a great fit for the Warriors. He's kind of come out of nowhere in some respects. He was at Jacksonville last year, led Michigan to the national championship, the best player in the Big Ten, 6'8", around 240, 250, can play both forward positions, can shoot the three, a good defender, can finish at the rim. Really good player. Really good player. Keep your eye on him.
Wow. All right. Who else? Any other names? I love this.
Arnett is another freshman kid who is really talented, 6'10", but he's kind of skinny. I don't think that he's a guy who's going to come in and be able to deal with the rigors of the physical NBA yet, but he's a talented player. I also think that the kid Mara out of Michigan, the center, he's 7'2", 7'3", who transferred out of UCLA, a Spaniard, a pretty darn good player. If the Warriors can't reach a decision on Porzingis, they could conceivably let him go and use that $30 million to go out and get a player that they think can help them and draft this kid, the center out of Michigan, who's going to be a pretty good player. It's going to take him some time, but he's not a stiff. The kid can play. He can really play.
Oh, man. See just hearing you just mention 2 names has got me all excited for the offseason. This is going to be the first offseason for the Golden State Warriors in at least 5 years where they actually might be vested in the NBA draft, and we could actually talk about prospects. Yaxel Lindenbaum, that's who you just brought up, right?
Yeah.
And then AK66 in our chat brings up Jaden Quintons. Know anything about him?
I do. He's a really talented big out of Kentucky. He's had some injuries this year, but he's a force. He's like 6'10", 6'11", good rebounder, good finisher, shot blocker, and he'll be available also.
My God.
The challenge with him is because I didn't see him a whole lot. I couldn't really gauge his basketball IQ, but he definitely passed the eye test. There's no doubt about that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We'll talk about getting me excited, man. I mean, that's even more reason. And friendly reminder: if the Warriors somehow win the play-in and put themselves in a scenario where they're playing the OKC Thunder in a 7-game series, their draft pick's going to drop to 15. I don't think it can go lower than that. Let me check real fast to see if anyone in the East might end up actually having a worse record than Golden State, who might win the play-in there. Just give me 1 second for me to look that up. Okay, so Miami 41 wins. Yeah, so the Warriors, they're going to fit. Yeah, they're not in danger of falling even worse. The Warriors will have the worst record of all teams in both conferences who are eligible for the play-in or better because they currently have 37 wins. 43 losses, officially out of the running to get 40 wins on the season. Porzingis not playing tonight. Frank, I don't know if you've been following this story. About a week or two ago, Porzingis was quoted as saying he loves being in the Bay Area. The first impression was resoundingly positive for him. And then a week later, he's in an interview. I think Nick Friedel of The Athletic wrote a piece on this, where he's suddenly kind of backtracking on his commitment to the Warriors, saying who knows, it just depends. Like all the verbiage he was using did not sound like a person who was happy and wanted to stay. And the impression I got, and who knows what's really going on, this is just my take, but the impression I got is that there was a conversation had between the Warriors and Porzingis's representatives, and numbers were probably just broached, right, in an informal conversation. But those numbers probably took Porzingis, made him take a step back. Something tells me he has a dollar figure in mind. All of these athletes have huge egos, and their self-worth is profoundly large. And in Porzingis, for good reason, right? I mean, these are pro athletes. They made it to the NBA. But in Porzingis' case, he's making $30 million now. And something tells me the idea of taking a pay cut from like 30 to, let's say, 10, it's probably enough of a shell shock to make him kind of take a step back and go, I need to see what else is out there. That is my suspicion for what went down. I could be wrong on that altogether, but suddenly he's missing games again. Suddenly his words are not very committal to the Warriors. What is your takeaway if you've been following this close?
I think you have excellent critical thinking skills.
Thank you, sir.
So
do you. Right back at you, brother.
Right back at you. Thank you. I think you're 100% correct. And everybody sees the same thing. He's cooked. What he is right now is a high-level backup center. And he could start for you if you have other good players around, but he's never going to play, I don't think, consistently more than 25 to 28 minutes a game. He's just not. You don't pay a guy $30 million a year to play 28 minutes a game.
Right.
Just don't do that.
Right.
So I think the Warriors probably could stomach 15 million, 20 million holding their breath on a one-year deal, but that's it. His lower extremities are done. He has no strength in his lower body, so he can't post up. He can't move laterally. What he can do, he still has he has really soft hands. So he can catch the ball around the basket and put it up softly and make shots close to the basket. On some nights when teams just thoroughly disrespect him and he's on one, he can make 3, 4, 5, 6 threes in a game. But if you guard him, he can't do anything. He's cooked.
That's crazy.
He really is.
It's crazy. Yeah, it was just and I agree with the best ever in her chat who was saying the trade was ultimately a salary dump. I agree. When you look at the math, the Warriors had to clear up some space. Regardless, this gives them a chance to just dump that $30 million and I have no idea what the plan is for next year. Again, I'm going to reveal what I learned in terms of a crazy inside source from the Warriors tomorrow night. All I can tease it with is, for those of you that don't want Steve Kerr back, myself included, you have hope.
Oh, wow.
I would say today was a good day in terms of news.
Wow.
So, and that's part of it. So stay tuned. I'll talk about it more tomorrow night. I believe Armando Laura's going to join us. I haven't actually checked with him to confirm that because post-game shows are usually a bit more of a challenge. And Frank, I'm going to ask you to join me this summer a lot, if you don't mind, just because that's when guests are always welcome when there's no basketball going on. Are you following the WNBA, by the way? Is that something you're passionate about?
I love the WNBA. I love it.
Look at you.
I love it. I love women's basketball. I'm a basketball nut, dude.
Me too. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, man. I cover everything. I do. Yes.
So are the Valkyries your team? Are you following them close?
I like them. I like the Valkyries. The New York Liberty are my team. That's my team.
All right. Well, we might do some post-game shows then this season. Yeah. What were your thoughts on Angel Reese being traded to Atlanta? I started to digress from the Warriors for a second here, but I didn't understand that. Like, why are you trading a star player for? Maybe the trade was worthwhile. Did you follow that at all? Because I did. I did not.
I did. I mean, that coach has no chance of being successful if he's being challenged by a player who's more popular than he is. So her personality was so big that the Chicago Sky was never going to get an opportunity to evaluate their coach properly because she was just going to blow the whole thing up. Now, Atlanta is a perfect place for her because they have a really good coach. They have a really good coach who has been to 10 plus NCAA tournaments. He made the transition to the WNBA. They also have a veteran team. They have a veteran team with established players that's going to keep her in line. So she's not going to be able to run that team. She's going to have to go there and do what she does, gobble up rebounds, and hopefully make some layups and build her brand within the team concept. So I think it was a perfect trade for Atlanta. She's a good player. And from Chicago's perspective, they get a chance to build their team from the bottom and really evaluate this guy to see if he can coach or not.
Money Check up in her chat is correcting you, Frank. You called yourself a basketball junkie. He's calling you a basketball kinky. Oh, I just have fun. It's a joke. Kink, like you're.
Listen, thank you. I'm so confident.
I don't think there's any denigration there. Just having some fun. But yeah, I agree. I'm a kink. I'm kinky as well about hoops. I love it. What a paid chat I want to get to real fast. On last night's show or yesterday's show, we had a paid chat coming in that came in like right as I ended the show. Like I looked at the timestamp. I think the show ended at something like 4:14, and then that came in at like 4:12, and I missed it. And I think Tommy was the individual, at least that's their handle. And they dropped a $5 donation. Forgive me for not getting to that on yesterday's show, but I read the chat, and Tommy, I think you were just going off on Kristaps Porzingis, unhappy with his existence on the Warriors, and so I acknowledge that Porzingis did not play today. Neither Frank or I are necessarily huge fans of his. Again, this is all just basketball analysis. None of this is personal. This is not like, again, we're not attacking character. We're just attacking how you play the game. Yeah. And these are people who are making a shitload of money playing this game. And schlubs like myself and Frank, or I'll call myself a schlub. I won't call you that. Forgive me. This is part of the turf is people criticizing. And just for Tommy, because I did not get to your $5 chat last night, let's listen to Tingus Pingus and the epic rant.
What the fuck did they do? Who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is Tingus Pingus? I never heard of fucking Latvia. You drafted this fucking kid. You stupid motherfuckers, you.
Frank, I'm a child. Forgive me. I'm immature with my humor. That always puts a smile on my face. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but it is. Not everyone's amused by that. Were you amused or no?
I mean, it took me home for a minute. It's an outraged New York Knicks fan. That's what it was. So I can relate to it. I wouldn't do it, but I can relate.
I've never heard of Latvia. Yeah. Another paid chat. Brooklyn Opinion 499 saying Steve Kerr is going to use the injury as an excuse. Which injury? Oh, just everybody. Even though the Warriors sucked before the injuries, and next year he's going to use age as an excuse. My disdain for him is unhealthy. Brooklyn Opinion, my only retort to that is it's not unhealthy. He's driving. I feel like if you have a reasonably sensible brain, what he does drives you insane. I get it. I'm not losing sleep over it, but when I'm doing this show, when I'm watching the Warriors, when I'm covering them, yeah, it drives me up the wall, the decisions that he makes routinely. And it's always specifically the player evaluation and the assessments and the rotations. Tonight, by the way, Frank, the Warriors started their 40th different starting lineup, the highest numbers in 16 years, the highest number of the Steve Kerr era. What are your thoughts, Frank, on 40 different starting lineups? That's a high number.
I mean, it seems unreal when you see it. They only have 82 games. He's had a different lineup for more than half the games.
Crazy.
But it's not unlike Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr likes to have teams in which he is clearly the preeminent leader. There's really no controversy around who's running that team. And one indication of that is his ability to, kind of play with the parts and reward guys and take minutes from guys based on how he views the team having the best opportunity to win. I won't take that from him. I think that there is a real science to his approach, and he thinks that what he's doing is going to help them win. Now,
You had me all the way until you said science, and then we said, I don't know if there's a science there, but you might be right. I don't know. I'm not giving him that much credit, but
I'm never going to say that he doesn't want to win. I think he does.
That's true. That's true. That's
I think he does want to win, but I do think that this is the team that he put together, and he likes this team. He likes having these pieces, like you said, that probably wouldn't fit in anywhere else in the league. He likes these guys.
It is madness. We've introduced some new segments, Frank, since the last time you came on. We go back on this date in Warriors history. We have officially a brand new segment. It's a Homer alert, and we check emails. So for this particular moment in time right now, we're about an hour in. Frank, I'm not going to keep you for multiple hours. We'll start to wrap it up here. What would you like to shift to? Do you want to hear an email or two from our lovely readers, or do you want to go into the time machine? What do you prefer right now?
I like history. Let's go to the time machine. I want to see what happened.
All right. And this was a very significant date in Golden State Warriors history. Let's take a visit.
Good evening, and welcome back to The Story. This is old-timey news anchor.
Depth in news coverage never before seen in the Bay Area.
A little elevation sensation.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
13 years ago is what we're going to go back to. On this date, in 2013, the Golden State Warriors beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. And with that win, they qualified for the postseason for the second time in 19 years and the first time since 2006. The We Believe Warriors. This time, the battle cry was "We Belong." I don't know if you folks remember that one. That "We Belong" did not stick, but it was a brief rallying cry. But maybe more importantly, the 47-35 Warriors on this date, that was their final record eventually. To me, to this date, April 9th, marks the birth of the dynasty. That to me is the moment when this became a real thing. They went on and upset the Denver Nuggets. The Warriors finished the 6th seed that year. Denver was the 3 seed. The Warriors pulled off a 6-game upset, convinced Andre Iguodala to join them. Side note, Frank, as I was doing my research on this, it got me thinking because I was wrote down Andre Iguodala's name as a marquee free agent signing. Was he the first big free agent signing by the Warriors in their entire franchise's history? Because I decided to think back, and I can't think of any other successful big names. I mean, there were a lot of swings and misses, and there were a lot of free agents that were at the tail end of their careers, like the Jamal Crawfords, the Mark Prices, Corey Maggette. I remember this franchise was celebrating that signing. And Corey Maggette was about as average as you're going to get. I mean, he had talent, but he wasn't exactly giving you wins. The Warriors stole him from the LA Clippers. Was Andre Iguodala the first big signing ever? Because I can't think of another one.
I'm going to say he was because all of the other players, the Wilt Chamberlains of the world, they were traded. So those were not free agent signings. So right. I'm going to say yes.
That's crazy. So, and Tracy McKendall in her chat saying Andre Iguodala is the next coach. Maybe.
Wow.
Side note, Mike Malone is officially off the list. He's no longer in the running for any job because North Carolina hired him, which is crazy. And we're going to talk about your boy Billy Donovan in a second here, but you said, I like your reaction there for Iguodala's name being broached as the next head coach. So you would like that?
I think it's a really smart reach. I mean, if he wanted to do it, he certainly would jump to number 1 on the list. There's no doubt about that.
Right. Yeah. Good call on that.
Yeah. I mean, he's smart enough. I think that his communication skills, the respect that people have for him, his comfortability with the Bay Area, the fans, Tracy, that is an outstanding name because I think that he could potentially be great. I don't know if he would want to do it. He might be enticed to, keep his eyes focused on Silicon Valley and all of the new venture capitalist opportunities, but maybe he can do both. I don't know.
Yeah.
Smart guy, though. Definitely good choice.
Iguodala was very smart as well, focusing on the venture capital angle with Silicon Valley. There is a shitload of money down there, and Andre spotted that early. Good for him. I hope he scored. I've never really read reports on Andre's portfolio and whether or not he came out of that experience as a billionaire.
I read it. I studied about it. I researched it. Now,
what'd you find?
Well, sometimes the numbers get crazy, but there were some estimates. I'm just going to say somewhere between 50 and 200 million.
Congrats to Andre Iguodala.
Now, I don't, this is public stuff. I don't know if it's true, but I think he's probably been pretty successful.
Whew. Good for you, Andre. Look at you.
Yeah.
Andre Iguodala, I wouldn't hate it. Chris Paul would be interesting. You're saying no to that. What about some people are bringing up Rayon Rondo's name as a head coach? What are your thoughts on him?
No.
Okay.
No, here's the thing. A caveat with Chris Paul and Rondo. When you follow a Hall of Famer in Steve Kerr, you got to hit the ground running. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they can't do it because they can do it. What I'm saying is that it's a really, really hard job. I haven't seen either one of those guys run incredible offenses. And one of the reasons why Steve Kerr was hired by the Warriors is Joe Lacob's vision of having a wide open offense. So it worked perfectly. I haven't seen Chris Paul do that. I haven't seen Rondo do that. Both of them are both ball dominant point guards. Do they have the basketball IQ? Certainly they do. But I would love to see them talk the game or see them practice their vision somewhere else and then come up to the Warriors.
Yeah, I still am. My number one pick is still Brent Barry. Just a personal pick. I think that would be awesome.
That's a good name too.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons that I think it would be awesome. But there's a lot like one name that nobody brings up, and I would love it, is Willie Green, who I thought got a bad deal in New Orleans, former Steve Kerr assistant, bright mind. I just thought that was a no-win situation for him with the Pelicans. I want someone young. I definitely don't want an old coach for the next hire. I want someone who understands how young athletes today think, act, and how you can connect with them, because that does seem to be a huge issue with Kerr, is just his lack of communication and ability to understand how younger people behave and look at the world today. It's just a perspective I think he needs. That's just me, but
I like Barry. Anyway, I like Brent Barry. I like that name.
Yeah, Brent Barry's a good one in my opinion. And then Draymond Green is someone who I think Joe Lacob has brought up in the past as someone that he would like taking over Steve Kerr as the head coach. I wouldn't hate that either. I think Draymond would actually be a solid coach. I don't know if he'd want to do that. I think Draymond right now is more focused on his next contract extension. Have you heard about that, by the way? That
just a little bit. When I read something today that said that, he's talking about options, what my options are. And most people thought that he was going to limp to the finish line and he would be in a hurry to pick up his extension. But the reality is Draymond's had a pretty darn good year. He's had a good year. And he's probably looking to squeeze out another couple of years. He would probably like to play 3 more years, making $25-30 million a year. I mean, why not? I mean, he's looking for some opportunities.
And the thing is, and the reason why I think he is going to opt out is if he opts into the player option and makes the $27 million, his value next offseason is likely going to be far lower.
I agree.
Because he's going to be going into free agency as a 37-year-old. He turned 36 recently. Whereas if he opts out and becomes an unrestricted free agent this offseason, instead of $27 million guaranteed, I think what he's likely going to aim for and get is something like 3 years, $50 million, maybe even 3 years, $60, if someone's willing to pay that.
Yep.
But yeah, my guess is that's what his idea is for this offseason. And then we'll see if the Warriors are able and willing. It's going to be.
I mean, let's look at it, though. If he gets a 3-year 60, even a 3-year 70, 75, the value of $25 million in 2026 is not what it was in 2023.
Yeah.
So the salary cap is going up, not as much this year. They got a $75 billion, whatever it is, TV contract. They got the money. They have the money.
Easily.
You know, so why should he not get some of it? That's
sir.
the mentality. So.
Yes, sir. Here's another a new segment that I want to drop. And we've already done this segment once or twice, but we actually have some candidates here. I found 2 of them, and I don't like homers, Frank. I in my opinion, if you're going to go into the media game, you do it not to do PR. If you want to do PR, be a PR practitioner. If you want to go into the media as a content creator, as a journalist, have some goddamn integrity. And when you don't have integrity, I'm going to call your ass out. And I got not one, but we got 2 homers that need to get called out. Let me just find my open. Where's my homer open? Is this one it? That's my email segment. Here it is.
There is no more homer in the entire NBA, and for all I know, in the world of sports, than the Warriors broadcast.
Everybody says I'm Homer, which I am.
Why am I such a loser? Why?
And the one, this one's crazy to me. And Frank, I don't know if you're going to agree that at the level of egregiousness that I find this, but this comes from a beat reporter, and this comes from a specific story. Let me share this on the screen so everyone else can see it as well. Just give me 1 second here. My system is making me do something a little tricky. Here it is. All right. So I don't know how easily you folks can see what's on the screen. I'll do my best to read it out loud. This is from Danny Emmerman and a story he wrote that I believe was published today by the San Francisco Standard. And I'm going to read just 2 paragraphs here, 2.5 paragraphs, to show you the hyperbolic nature of just how much local media loves kissing Steve Kerr's ass. We start here with, quote, Kerr's happiness index is of particular interest because of his choice to play out this season without a contract beyond this year. The greatest coach in franchise history has decided to wait until the offseason to figure out what's best for him and the organization. So it's extra notable that Kerr is still finding beauty in the struggle, as he likes to put it. He's experiencing beauty in the small, sentimental moments too. Moments with his oldest son, Nicholas. Not Nick, Nicholas, a first-year assistant coach. First of all, unquote. First of all, and Danny Emmerman is not a columnist. That is what Tim Kawakami is. Danny Emmerman is a reporter. And you have a reporter writing in a story that Steve Kerr is the greatest coach in franchise history. That is not an objective statement. That is a fanboy statement. Greatest how? Based on most titles won? Okay, you're right there. He's not the greatest in terms of most wins. Don Nelson owns that role. And what about the greatest in terms of developing talent? My point is, that is, to me, egregious. Frank, am I going too far calling this one out? Your thoughts?
I'm going to say it's not egregious because you have a very, very high standard and you've been very consistent since I've known you. And I respect that. You need that. There are people around the country in this industry that hold the line that you are establishing. And I respect that. If he said one of the best coaches, then I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
But by cementing him as the greatest coach without having any nuance, yeah, it sounds like he's kissing his ass a little bit. You know?
And then the story.
And I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
No, here's the thing. kissing Steve Kerr's ass or some people with power probably works pretty good for these cats. You know, so I mean, the Bay Area is not an isolated market. You know, when you have a process that works for you, you tend to do it again and again and again. Just a side note, and this is, you know, me being serious for a second.
Yeah.
One guy that's done a lot for my career that doesn't allow anybody to kiss his ass is Raymond Ritter.
Yes.
I get so much respect for Raymond Ritter.
The man.
Raymond Ritter has done incredible things for me in my career. And I remember, like, one time I was about to give him a compliment, and he was like, "Oh, no. That is, I mean, he's an incredible guy, and he's phenomenal at his job. He doesn't play that crap. He really doesn't. So I got so much respect for Raymond Ritter. Me
too. The best in the business, easily. He gets it. Raymond, side note, I used to teach a sports journalism course at St. Mary's College, and he came in as a guest speaker one time and nailed it. The students loved him. Raymond Ritter he's a G, man. He's one of one. We are always pro Raymond Ritter on this program. One other, going back to the Homer alert, one other element that I noticed, and again, I just started this, but it's just I've had enough. If you're going to be acting like a cheerleader, if you're going to be acting like a fan, Frank, you and I grew up without fan content. Like you and I grew up where the media was just either you got reports or you got columns, right? And the columns were usually where you'd get like opinionated stuff. Now it's just fan stuff everywhere. It's just raw. Like, I love my team, and I'm going to argue with you because I love my team more than you love my team. And it's insane, dude. I've never understood the appeal of this. And look, I get if you're a fan content, a creator, fine, I get it. But if you're in this media game and that's what you're doing, yeah, you're going to get called out. Here's one more.
There is no more Homer in the entire NBA, and for all I know in the world of sports, than the Warriors broadcast.
Everybody says I'm Homer, which I am.
Why am I such a loser? Why?
Homer Simpson. And this one goes out to Peter O'Keefe. And I like Peter. I like the Aussies. Peter, I believe, runs a website called Blue Man Hoop. It's a Warriors. It's like one of these Warriors pages that, you know, tries to provide columns and stories covering the team. Well, Peter decided to tweet this. Only 2 games, but Bassey greater than Trayce Jackson-Davis. And the Warriors got a second-round pick. All I got to say is it's only 2 games. I get being a little excited, but again, you're not supposed to be a fan. You're supposed to be a media professional, and second-round picks are not anything to brag about. Wait. Is anybody seeing this? Hold on. Please forgive me. What happened here? Hold on. Let's remove that. No one's looking at what I was trying to show. That's not a good look. Hold on. Whoops. No. At stage. There we go. All right. Here's the tweet. And again, Peter O'Keefe wrote this. Frank, what are your thoughts on people already saying Bassey is a better player for the Warriors than Trayce Jackson-Davis?
Sounds like cheerleading. That's what I mean. And I mean, it's like, come on, man. Bassey's been in the league now for 6 or 7 years. He's not like a guy that we've never seen before. He's been around. So I'm happy that he has an opportunity to prove himself. But Trayce Jackson-Davis actually had some moments. So let's not crap on Trayce Jackson-Davis because he's no longer here. And I mean, what are you going to do if Bassey doesn't play well? Then, you know, if he comes back next year, the next 10 games. So slow down. It's okay to be a fan, you know, but acknowledge your fandom first. This might sound a little delusional because I'm a fan, but I'm hoping that Bassey is better than Trayce Jackson-Davis.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm hoping, you know, so.
I wish Brandon Podziemski was better than Kuminga. I wish.
Yes, exactly.
I wish Porzingis was the Warriors won that trade. I wish.
Right.
But some of us live in reality, man, and we gotta speak the part.
I don't think it was egregious. I just think it was, it's like, okay, he's a Warrior fan. All right.
Exactly. All right, and we're going to do some emails and then wrap it up here. We're almost done, Frank. And again, people can follow Frank Red on Twitter at Big Frank Red. Forgive me. And maybe more importantly, or equally important, subscribe to his program In the Dungeon. It's tagged in our YouTube description. Just click on the handle In the Dungeon. It'll take you to the YouTube page of Frank's show, and please subscribe. Do Frank a favor if you don't mind. And Frank, you and I should do a collaboration at some point. I know you just strictly do movies, so are you not as big on the streaming shows and sitcoms and TV and all that stuff? Is it just film? Like you have to go be in a theater to talk about the movie you're referencing?
I mean, no. Every now and then, I'll talk about some TV shows as well. Like I talked about Industry on HBO. That was a show that I watched. Pretty
great show.
I really like that, but I do tend to focus on films in the theater because I go to the theater a lot. I'm a screenwriter myself, but I watch television. I don't have as much time to watch TV shows because I'm covering sports, doing a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, I'm doing movies, and I will do some TV shows as well.
What's your most your last 2 or 3 movie reviews?
They Will Kill You by Zaza Beetz.
Okay.
I really liked it. It was I said it was a combination of Get Out and early John Wick. I love to see women kicking ass in action movies. And Zazie Beetz was the actress on Childish Gambino show Atlanta. Beautiful, beautiful woman, and she finally got an opportunity to lead a movie. So I saw that. I also saw the Affair with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson.
Oh.
And that was a masterclass in acting. Both of those individuals are phenomenal actors. The script was good enough to keep you entertained, but that was really about acting. It was like 2 really talented, good-looking people who are so good at what they do, you almost forget that they are really, really good-looking also. And that is a key element of great acting to me.
100%, because otherwise it's not realistic. It's
right.
And Oakland's own Zendaya. Yeah, props to her. Her career just keeps blowing up. She is a star. All right, let's get to these emails, and then we'll wrap it up. Frank, I've stolen your time for almost an hour and a half now. Thank you in advance.
I'm having the ball, dude.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Right back at you. All right, let's check some emails. And again, if you ever want to email us, it's very simple to get your words on paper and delivered. Warriors24pod@gmail.com. Again, Warriors24pod@gmail.com is how you can email us. And let's open the mailbag.
Letters. We get letters. We get stacks and stacks of letters.
All right. I like that paper crumpling sound effect right there. Okay, a little too long. Shut up. All right. We start with we got 2 emails tonight. First up is Israel Brown, aka Mr. Silax. This is his second email now being read on the program. Israel writes, I'm happy to see Steph play. As you have said numerous times, Steph is on short time. I'm saying it here first. Stephen Curry will play for 2 more seasons minimum. This is why I'm so upset about Kuminga. Should have been Curry, Kuminga, pick and rolls for the win. In favor of Steve Kerr. The Warriors roster against the Rockets' talent is no contest. Keeping Steve Kerr next season is the equivalent of the Warriors franchise saying, I don't want an MJ or a Kobe or an SGA. I want Cogs to run a particular offense and show the genius of my coach. Just like what you said earlier, Frank, about ego. Guy Santos is the best young player on this team. Podziemski is second. As far as the upcoming playoff run, when there's a Stephen Curry, there is a way. Warriors pushed the Thunder to 6 games. after easily navigating the play-in. P.S. Pods can dunk. See, Frank, some people actually want the Warriors to get out of the play-in, and they have this delusion. Look, Stephen Curry is an all-time great. He's already top 10 in my all-time rankings. And Frank, in a future show, you and I can have a discussion about that. And I still maintain if he had a fifth ring, a ring for the thumb, he's on Mount Rushmore, with no contest. Right now, I look at Steph as the same way I look at Joe Montana. To me, Joe Montana is the greatest quarterback, greatest player in the history of the NFL. However, he doesn't have 7 Super Bowls. Tom Brady does. So I can't win an argument with my belief that Joe Montana is the all-time GOAT. That's what I believe, but I'm also going to defer to the folks who say Tom Brady is. Same premise with Stephen Curry. To me, Stephen Curry is the greatest point guard ever. He should be on Mount Rushmore. He easily the greatest shooter ever, just completely shook up the NBA paradigm and turned it from a game that had been relatively the same for 6 decades and just flipped the script and made everyone realize, oh shit, we should be shooting 3-pointers all the time. And Stephen Curry is the evidence that you can actually win like that. There's only one Steph, and that's the problem for most of these teams. With that said, on one hand, Steph to me, top 4 all time, but championships matter, rings matter in these discussions. And so I say he's top 10, but I'm not going to win an argument that he's top 4, top 5. With all that said, he's 38 years old. He couldn't play tonight against the Lakers. And at the same time, I'm not under the delusion that he can't beat the 2 playing opponents. Of course he can do that. Mm-hmm. But I'm also not under the delusion that he alone can carry the Warriors against the Thunder. It's such a blasphemous premise that the Warriors stand a chance against OKC, let alone winning 2 games against them. I mean, if there's a miracle, maybe 1. But we could also very likely see the first sweep in Stephen Curry's career on the losing end come to the OKC Thunder as well. Frank, what are your thoughts on what Israel just wrote there?
I'm going to have you fall in love with Steve Kerr. I think, and this is going to be hard, but I'm going to do it. Steve Kerr is going to protect Stephen Curry from himself. I honestly believe that. I think there's a way to do it. I think the Warriors are the model franchise in the NBA for a reason. They are class personified. They have the best owner. I think that Steve Kerr and his staff will find a way to have the Warriors play competitive basketball, not embarrass themselves, but not make it into the playoff run.
I have faith in that as well.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things
I believe that.
Yeah, I do too, but it's until I see it, I'm going to be a little worried about it. One last email, and then we'll wrap it up. And again, Israel, great email from you. And this one is from Mark Otis. So let's see what Mark has to say.
Letters, we get letters. We get stacks and stacks of letters.
Mark Otis writes, "Hey, Cy. This is Mark, a.k.a. Harmonies. What's up? Hey, I wanted to nominate a guest you should reach out to who I follow on Instagram who is as knowledgeable about the Warriors as Sharia." Okay. And Frank, I don't think you've had a chance to meet Sharia yet. She joins us from the East Coast time to time and sits in the co-host chair. She's awesome. She's phenomenal. I hope you meet her at some point in the near future. Anyways, so this person that Mark wants me to reach out to, her handle is at Shay Slams on Instagram. Mark also provides her email address. I won't mention that. Check her out on her Instagram. She has great info and is also easy on the eyes. Sorry, I have been away in chat engagement, but the Kerr apologists and the Warriors continued losing this year are too much on a brother's piece. I don't blame you. I'm still watching every Golden Days show. Thank you, man. That's huge. You are the best Warriors show in the Bay Area simply because you're the only one who keeps it real and isn't on Kerr's payroll. Cheers, Mark Otis. Thank you very much for the compliment. And Frank, do you want to check out who this Shay Slams is?
Sure. Absolutely.
All right. So we got a recommendation for basically a guest recommendation. And let's see who Shay. I don't know who Shay Slams is. Okay, now I understand the easy on the ice part. Here, let me share my screen. Mark, you have good taste. I'll give you that. All right, here we go. So this is her Instagram. This is Shay Slams. Oh, I've seen her. She makes these clips. I've seen her. I've seen one or two of her videos before. And Shay Slams. Oh, her email address is right there. Okay, so it's not some secret. Shay Slams. Again, I've seen a couple of your clips. I remember them because they were actually making sense. I think she was criticizing the amount of minutes Brandon Podziemski was giving me. Shay, I'm going to do this individual a favor. I'm following you. And if you want to be a guest on this show, follow me back and let's get in touch. I'm not judgmental. Frank, does she look like a winner to you? From strictly a analyst perspective with first impression.
I think I might have seen her. Yeah, I mean, the whole media space thing is kind of funny to me because, you know, when women sometimes objectify themselves, it's fine. If a guy does it, then we get a bad rap. So I mean, it's I mean, that whole situation is kind of funny to me. I'm not surprised when women are excellent at anything. So it doesn't matter to me what they look like. I mean, I'm sure she's great, or I would assume that she's great. But that whole gender, how we promote ourselves thing, it's kind of weird because men generally don't get a chance to do that.
Yeah.
Right. But women do, and I have no problem with it. I really don't. But it's you know, they beat on us sometimes when men objectify women. I understand why. But when they do it themselves to promote whatever they're doing, it's fine.
And I think a safe piece of advice for everyone out there: just don't objectify anyone else. It's the safest water to tread. Just don't objectify. Period. But for Frank, I totally follow what you're saying about the media in general. Money Checkup is saying I've showed her before. Was it one of the, did I play a clip on the show where she was? I just remember her with this one clip where she was criticizing Podziemski for some reason, and so I immediately was like, "Ooh, like someone else is on that train, on that side of the tracks. Sign me up." So if I actually showed her on the show, I actually don't remember that, but I believe you, Money Checkup. I do have a memory of her expressing opinions before. Anyways, so Shay, if that's your name, again, if this gets to you, reach out if you're interested in coming on the show. We don't discriminate. Otherwise, great emails. Mark Otis, thank you. Israel, thank you. And Frank, as we start to wrap it up here, are there any topics you think we should have covered that we did not cover? Did we miss anything?
I don't think we missed anything. You said you would say something about Billy, but I don't know if we have time for that.
Oh, no. Well, I'm on your schedule. I have plenty of time. I'm glad you brought that up. You and Billy Donovan played high school together, right?
Yeah.
Billy Donovan, first of all, the Chicago Bulls, to me, it's very sad that it took them as long as they did to blow that front office up. I've said this multiple times on the show, forgive me for the redundancy, but I sympathize with Bulls fans more than any other fan base for the simple reason that once you've experienced greatness, to have it taken away from you for a time span measuring decades is borderline criminal. It's torture. And Bulls fans went from the Jordan dynasty to having a brief moment, a brief glimmer of hope with Derrick Rose. Outside of that, nothing. They've had an experience very similar to what the Warriors experienced before their dynasty, except those years of torture were not preceded with just pure greatness as spoiling the fan base. I have so much sympathy for that fan base. They blow up the front office, which must have made those fans elated. They also have the utmost respect for your boy Billy Donovan, and they basically decided that the way they're moving forward is they're going to hire a front office guy who respects Billy as the head coach, which is very interesting. And again, Billy. I told you to reach out to him and try to get us hired as the next GM. I think we can do better than anyone they hire. And being like partly facetious, but also partly serious, because you see who these front offices hire as their decision makers for personnel. And sorry, but I think we could do that job. With that said, that's not why I brought Billy Donovan's name up. I brought him up because you know him personally. You played basketball with him. And the Bulls are in an interesting position now. What's your takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, I saw Bill about 2 weeks ago when the Warriors played the Bulls, and we talked after the game, and he's going through a lot of stuff right now, but like you said, I think he really likes the fan base. He's publicly said that he likes the Bulls organization, and the one thing about Bill, and I root for him. Bill is a phenomenal human being, which is hard to do as an NBA coach and a top-notch college coach. He is a great human being. So I don't know anybody who doesn't like him. I really don't. Players, the Ryan Sox have come out and been very congratulatory and very complimentary of him, I should say. So, it's going to be interesting. I read something today that said that he appreciates what the Ryan Sox have said about him. He intends to talk to them after the season and then make some decisions. So, he's my guy, man. I'm hoping that whatever he wants to do works out for him. I know he's had some real, challenging situations over the past month or so. His dad died, Mr. D, who is a great man, who was a great man. And
brutal.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think the Chicago Bulls' lack of success is an indication of Billy Donovan as a coach.
No, I agree.
Not at all. So
Frank, as we get older, it does surprise me a little bit that you can continually learn new things, right? Like the amount of knowledge in this world is vast enough where even at an old age, you can still pick up a new trick or two here and there. And one thing I learned this past year, which is still kind of shocking to me, but I'm accepting this reality as a clear-cut fact, man. And it started with bringing on a guest who goes by the handle Awful Coaching. I don't know if you've ever seen his YouTube account before. He basically he himself is a former college coach. Okay. He's been coaching most of his life. You can hear it in his voice. He's got like most of his vocal cords are just fried, right? And he sounds kind of like Doc Rivers and Tibbs, just that gruff voice, like what's left there from yelling endlessly. But he said something that at the time sounded fanatical. It sounded extreme, but I do agree with it now. And the sentiment is this. NBA coaching, like there isn't a single good NBA coach. And when he first said that, I was like, whoa, like you're including even Spoelstra and guys like that. And then his response was, well, Spoelstra is another Nepo baby. And I didn't know that until I did my research. Turns out he's right. Spoelstra's dad was like a lifelong NBA guy. So anyways, this isn't a slight on Billy Donovan. And this isn't a slight necessarily on any NBA coach. But the realization I've come to is I don't think NBA coaches, let me rephrase this. To be a good NBA head coach, I don't think that requires you to put your fingerprints on the team or the game. I think a good NBA coach, it comes down largely to being a good manager, to making sure the right people play, making sure the right minutes are conveyed, making sure you're communicating with your team so you're hearing them and understanding what their grievances are, what you need to do to make them happy. But ultimately, it just comes down to not messing things up, right? That the front office presents to you. Now, the Bulls are a very unique situation because I agree with you. I don't think any of their malaise these last 5, 6, 7 years is on Billy Donovan. You look at these rosters, what the hell is he supposed to do? Like, he's never had a shot with real talent before. And I don't think it's fair for anyone to criticize him because, again, he's never had a shot. He's also proven he can actually coach because at the college level, he won championships. So, I mean, that's all the evidence you need for his coaching. But he also, I don't think, has had a chance to really show he can do it at the NBA level because you do need talent. What are your thoughts on my potentially crazy take there?
No, I mean, I really think that your take on being a manager is very strong, because I've had an opportunity to actually see it in motion and see how he manages, all things basketball. I mean, you are managing your coaches. You have like 19 coaches. You're managing relationships with agents. You are managing playing times. You're getting players at the deadline and trying to find a way to make them feel a part of the community. Now, here's where coaches do matter. And you know this, and you always say it. Development. Certain organizations develop players, and certain organizations don't. Now, am I biased when it comes to Billy? Yes, I am biased. But here's the thing. The Chicago Bulls drafted Ayo Dosunmu in the second round out of Illinois. All he's done is develop into a first-rate NBA player who's going to get a really nice contract this year. Okay? So Billy can develop players. Kobe White was basically teetering on being a bust when Billy went to Chicago.
Right.
The last 3 years, Kobe White's averaged 20 points a game. So my point is, Billy knows how to develop players. He can do that. He's also very good at building relationships. And I think those are things that matter, because look at Mike Brown. Mike Brown is a solid NBA coach for the criteria of what coaches are. Things kind of blew up in Sacramento. I don't know if it was Mike Brown's fault. I'm not blaming him. But what I'm saying is that as a coach, one of your hallmarks is, how do you handle that? Steve Kerr's actually pretty good at that. He's pretty good at kind of keeping things under wraps. That's a major part of NBA coaching. So we can talk for 2 hours about this, but there's some clear signs where coaching does matter.
Well, and Billy Donovan, it's not his fault that the front office gave Patrick Williams that contract extension, a guy that you cannot realistically play, but suddenly he's one of your top dollar guys. Jaden Ivey fell on his lap, not because he wanted him per se, but because that front office thought, hey, let's just get Jaden Ivey. By the way, do you have any thoughts or opinions on the Jaden Ivey situation? Because that is kind of sad that he decided to just become unfiltered with his religious beliefs. And I think you can safely define those as pretty extreme, or at least pretty fanatical, meaning he's taking the Bible literally and repeating it, calling Stephen Curry not a true Christian because he's not hardcore enough in terms of like that's a little much. What's your takeaway from that, if any?
I mean, I do have some empathy for him. I'm very spiritual. I'm not very religious. You know what I'm saying? So
I get it. Yeah.
I mean, personally, me talking about somebody's faith and what they believe and how they got there, I don't have the time for that, because because I respect people that they're coming from a genuine place. As a 23-year-old person, I would like to think that his views on the world and how people live their lives would be a little more broader than what he communicated. But those are his beliefs. I'm not going to try to change his beliefs. I think that his challenges right now are really weird in basketball. Okay, he got hurt. He had a catastrophic knee injury, and he's not the same physical player that he was when he came into the NBA. And he struggles to run an offense. So he's not a definitive point guard. He's not a definitive two guard. So he had some basketball issues intersecting with some philosophies that he has, and that led the Bulls to make that decision. I hope he recovers. And I hope that, again, he sees the world and people in general from a broader perspective than I think he does at this point. I'm not going to kill the guy. I just think he needs to grow.
Well, and I didn't know until this story, until Ivy got cut, that his mom is the head coach in Notre Dame.
Yes.
So it's not like he's coming from like an unstructured family home, and it's not like he hasn't had mentorship in life. For whatever reason, he's decided to just take a religious book literally, like very literally. And look, and I'm not sitting here judging anyone for that, but when you're starting to articulate those beliefs verbally, publicly, and that includes hating on your peers, that includes discriminatory language. Yeah, you just gotta. That's not gonna fly, man. And if you want to come back to the NBA, you're gonna have to experience a readjustment of sorts. It's unfortunate. But anyways, but good luck to Billy Donovan. At least he doesn't have to deal with Jaden Ivey anymore. It's one less headache.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you the type of person Bill is. I know it was so important for him to finish the season. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there were other jobs out there in college and, his name was being bandied about, so on and so forth, his level of integrity is just really, really high. Forget about basketball for a second. We never talk about his job. Whenever we talk, it's always about our lives and how our families are doing and our brotherhood that we have. He's just a good guy, man. So whatever happens, I hope things work out for him.
And good luck to Billy Donovan. Again, Frank, just all you got to do is send him a quick little simple text. Tell him Rick Barry's on board. So we at least have one good big name that brings credibility besides you and I. And let's turn the Bulls into a dynasty again. I'm being dead serious about that. I think we could do it.
Well, I could be a big man coach for a lot of NBA teams. I'm not going to say make me the number one guy. I'm not saying that. But I definitely could be a part of a collective of how to teach guys how to play inside. There's no doubt about that. Number two, I can be a scout. I can definitely scout. My evaluation skills, I put my evaluation skills up against people who are making a living in this industry. So
tell Billy we'll listen to all of his input. This will be a collaborative affair. Frank, whatever role you think fits you best, aim for that. Go for it, obviously. But I'm telling you, man, if we were brought in to the Chicago Bulls front office, give Rick Barry a president title, give me a VP title. I'm going to hire Kristen Peak as GM if that's okay with everyone else. She's brilliant. Whatever title, Frank, whether assistant coach and you could be on that. You could sit right next to Billy Donovan, whatever you want to do. All I'm saying is, if the Reinsdorfs took that chance, I am beyond confident the Bulls are going to be back on top. I really am.
All right,
but that's just me. Just send him a text. Just one text. I can't. It wouldn't kill anybody. And I know Rick would be on board with that. He would probably love that. I'd love to see Rick with some actual power. Could you imagine? He's like holding.
Well, listen. Rick Barry is one of the smartest basketball people that I've ever listened to. He just is. He's a basketball genius.
He makes me sound smart, and I'm forever appreciative of Rick for that. He is. You're right. And people do not appreciate that enough. They
don't know it. They don't know.
Yeah, and Rick to me has been a victim of the whole narrative game. I hate the narrative game. Some people in this world are just sensitive and they get rubbed the wrong way very easily. And Rick is just a very upfront guy. He's just and he's admitted this. Like, his wife actually has taught him to have more of a filter, so he's not as honest as he used to be, maybe, but. He's not a bad dude. That's the part I really hate when people have that label on him. He's not a bad guy. He's actually a really good dude. And Chicago, Reinsdorfs, Frank Red right there. Cyrus Saatsaz here. Rick Barry, one of the greatest ever. We will flip your franchise around.
Yeah.
Do it. There's really just one message for the Reinsdorfs when it comes to this idea. I even have a clip right here for it.
Come on, do it. Do it. Come on, sweetie. Do it. Okay. Do it. Mm-hmm. Do it.
Reinsdorfs, do it.
Just do it.
Do it. Text Billy.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens, though.
Let's go to the Midwest. Let's do it. I'll find an apartment in Chicago. Chicago's a beautiful city, man. Great food.
It's a phenomenal city.
It is.
Great city.
Let's go.
I saw the Cubs there and sat in the bleachers.
Did you really?
I did, yeah.
It's like the old Wrigley days, like, because that place has been redone multiple times. Like, what iteration did you experience?
it was just starting to kind of, put the shine on. But I loved it. Wrigley Field.
What year did you go?
I don't know, probably 25 years ago. All right. Now Wrigley Fields is in a neighborhood. I've never seen anything like it before. It's actually in a neighborhood. Imagine owning some property in the Wrigley Fields in your neighborhood.
So when I visited Chicago, I didn't see Wrigley and the Cubs weren't playing. I did go to Comiskey or whatever they're calling it now, and right. Comiskey's in kind of a neighborhood too. But like what the locals were telling me is that Wrigley's in like a nice neighborhood, Comiskey's in a more of a shoddy neighborhood. Is that accurate?
Well, that's what they say. I didn't go to see the White Sox. I don't know.
It wasn't a shitty neighborhood. I don't think. I did. I went there and I didn't think it was like awful. It was just. Yeah. Just kind of like, meh, whatever. I didn't sense my safety in jeopardy when I was there, though. I went to you're a TV film guy. Like, have you ever seen the TV show Shameless?
Sure.
So I did go to the Shameless house because that's a real house, right? Okay. And that neighborhood felt a little sketchy. like that neighborhood, we made sure to get out of there before it got dark. But we were like, and especially at the time I was with my romantic partner, and I didn't want her feeling, her security threatened or anything like that. But Comiskey, I didn't feel any.
Yeah, I haven't checked that one out. But Wrigley, it was like that was nice. It was fun.
We got Sal Hazadi in our chat saying that they've got a cousin who lives in Wrigleyville. Is that the name of the neighborhood? Wrigleyville?
That's probably what they call it. They got some bars. It's just it's a nice area. It really is.
All right, beautiful. Yeah. All right, Frank, this was a great show. I appreciate you giving me 2 hours of your life. Forever appreciative. One more time, again, the handle of your show. There's a clickable version in the YouTube description if people want to subscribe to The Dungeon. There's also a chat before we go that gives you some praise, Frank. And this is from Mick. Is it Mickji or Moji? Moji or MOG, whatever it is. Saying Frank Red owned Sacramento radio back in the day. The Jungle was the show. Good to see Frank making content.
Yeah, The Dungeon. He meant it was in The Dungeon as well. But thank you, Moji. I appreciate you. Let me say this about you, and this is not like, this is colleague to colleague. I love how you market your show, you promote your show. I mean, you have a really good show. I dig it.
Thanks, thank you. I'm trying.
No, it's good because sometimes it's a business. Everybody who's putting their time into it, you get to a certain level, it becomes a business. I love how you manage the business responsibilities of what you do versus putting together a show that's entertaining and is unique unto you. And I dig it, man. Just keep it up, man. I think it's great.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. I dig you. And again, everybody who's a part of this is a reason for this being good if it's good. So, Frank, thank you, man. You're a part of this. And the only reason why I don't ask you on more often is because I just forget. That's it. It's never like, oh, Frank's available, but I don't feel like it tonight. No, it's just, oh, Frank, and then I'll reach out to you like that. That's how I roll. That's my approach. In case you're ever wondering, it's just Frank, and I'm immediately on my phone like, oh, what's he doing? And like I said, if you ever want to do this summer, if you ever want to do like like fun shows where we talk about TV, film, all that stuff, I don't go to the theater much, but I do watch them at home, and I could definitely have a conversation with you about that. MOG is apologizing for calling it The Jungle. Now he says The Dungeon. And The Dungeon's still around. Still going strong.
Yes, Sunday night.
Before we go, you make music, correct?
Yes.
And so all the music on The Dungeon, I believe, is yours.
Yes.
So Frank, I feel like when someone makes a song for your show, you're on the right track. And if you don't mind, I'd like to play a song for you that one of our audience members made for us.
Let's go.
And I'd love to get your reaction to it, your feedback. Okay. Do you mind if we listen to it? It's about a minute 45. Is that it? Okay. Thank you, sir. So again, Nick Fensky made this. Brother Nick, you're amazing. Thank you. And this is the official Golden Days theme song.
Golden Days podcast. The Warriors' #1 source for news, commentary, and analysis that will amaze with its honesty. It is not your typical Warrior Stands podcast, where everybody thinks Kerr shits ice cream and everyone wants a scoop. Cyrus Saatsaz runs Golden Days like Steph Curry draining a 9-night 3. No pom-poms or kissing Joe Jr. or caresses. Instead, a show filled with passion and integrity from a lifetime Warrior fan and industry insider. Informative, analytical, and interactive with his pods. And no, not that Tim O'Dre has his pods, podcasts. The GDP craze running wild in the streets, brother. Of Maintown, USA, from north to south, west to east, parts unknown and worldwide. Expert analysis, audience interaction. Regulars like Cheria from the East Coast, Evanistic from the mayor of Kingstown, Armando Lara, the professor of the Go Home in a body bag program. There's Julian Allen Day, he even has John Holmes. Last but not least, the show's closer from the danger zone, the legendary Shardo, just to name a few. Passionate, agenda, and ego-free Golden State Warriors news, commentary, and analysis. Available where most podcasts can be found. Golden Days podcast, part of the Believe Sports Network.
Frank, thoughts?
On a scale of 1 to 10, definitely a 10.
Wow. Nick
Top
Fensky,
notch.
there you go.
Top notch.
I'm going to update the video because I ran out of time to have like visuals for the whole thing beginning to end. It'll be better in the near future.
No, you got some traps.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Well, that's Nick Fensky who wrote that. He mentioned John Holmes. I haven't seen Holmes in our chat in ages. The man with the incredible name, not the porn star John Holmes, the other porn star John Holmes. Shardal, you got here late. We'll save you for tomorrow night. Warriors Kings. Armando Lore, I believe, will join me for that. Frank, any predictions for that game? Someone in the chat said it might be awkward because the Kings are trying to tank. I don't know if it'll be awkward, but Young West, by the way, saying that your music is on YouTube. People can find it. I'm guessing it's on your channel in the dungeon. But
actually, I have another channel for my music.
Oh, my bad. My apologies.
Frank Red Music.
Okay, there you go.
Frank Red Music, and I got some joints on there. I'm actually coming out with another record in about a month.
Wow.
So I'm really excited about that.
Good for you.
Banger. Yeah, man. So, might be Doug Christie's Swan Sons. I think they're going to try to go out and try to win. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see what's up.
And Warriors fans, there's always this. At least you're not the Kings. At least you're not the Kings.
I got so many friends up there too that have to deal with that, and they've been around since the Kings were really good. You know, when they had Weber and Pager and all those cats. So, this is a tough time. I want the Kings to be good. I want the Warriors and the Kings to be good. That'd be awesome.
It's so sad that in the overall existence of the Warriors and the Kings, it's been a hell of a lot more bad times than good. I mean, like my entire childhood, it was just like Northern California was notorious for being the home of awful basketball. Right. It was always Warriors, Kings, and Clippers were like the three just basement dwellers that you could always count on being the worst. Yep. And the Kings are sadly still there.
They had one glitch a couple of years ago, and then it was over. So,
you brought up the Mike Brown thing and whether it was his fault. We've seen enough amazing coaches come and go with that organization, and not to mention De'Aaron Fox. Like, apparently that was the rift that cost Mike Brown his job. But then the team trades him. Like, right. It's like, what do you do for nothing? For nothing. Like, it's crazy. Just like an organization.
I mean, think about what Mike Brown did, though. He left the Warriors and immediately took them to the playoffs.
Yes.
This guy can coach.
Yes, he can.
He can coach. So, but the only, I'm not on the team. I'm not at practice. The only thing I said that made me question that is because some coaches have philosophies in terms of how they communicate with players. And you really can't communicate with every player the same. I mean, because the players will, once they give up on you, you coach. I don't care who you are. I don't care what level you're coaching at. And sometimes it's just not your fault. Sometimes it's just a bad situation. I think that might have been the case for Mike Brown. So he's doing better with the Knicks, although the Knicks have a really talented team.
Yeah, we'll see. And again, we're going to be going live throughout the postseason. I'm really excited for this playoffs. There's going to be some fantastic basketball. And before we go, the updated postseason standings. I have this visual right here. Or rather, the playoff bracket. The standings are almost set. Certain teams are locked in. This graphic that the NBA publishes gives you a good visual for where things stand. If the season ended today, it'd be Portland hosting the Warriors in one plan. It'd be the Suns hosting the Clippers in the other plan. But the East has been very fluid in terms of what the four play-in teams are. Right now, Charlotte and Miami would be the 9-10 game. At Charlotte, the Magic and the Sixers would be the 7-8 game. Orlando would have the home court advantage there. The Raptors, 1 minute they're the 10 seed, the next minute they're the 5 seed, which is where they're at right now. It's chaos. Any thoughts on this? And this will be where we finish the show.
All of those teams are good. I mean, I think both of those games are going to be really competitive, and I don't know who's going to win. I think it's that close. So it's going to be good basketball for fans.
I feel like Minnesota has been one of the bigger disappointments, only because 6th seed is pretty low for a team with that amount of talent. But I bring them up because they usually, I know this year I think they lost the season series to Denver 3-1. But in years past, they have played the Nuggets very tough. And I'm curious to know, Frank, do you have any thoughts on that series, Denver and Minnesota, because that seems to be locked in?
I think it will go at least 6 games. I do. But particularly, I mean, because Ant-Man's getting better every year. You know, he hasn't had that breakthrough series where he just put his team on his back, but I think that he's close to that. I think Denver's a better team, but I love it when the playoffs happen because the best team doesn't always win.
True.
I think it'll go at least 6 games. I'm interested to see how Ayo Dosunmu plays a role in that Minnesota backcourt, because I don't think that Dante DiVincenzo, who I love, is quite good enough defensively against the top-tier guards. So they got help in the backcourt. Their offense is not great. Denver's clearly better, but I'm looking forward to a competitive series.
Yeah, me too. I'm just looking forward to this postseason. I think it's going to be phenomenal, and the NBA is in a good place, at least when it comes to talent and the game itself. But there are a lot of little nuances like tanking, like Steve Kerr. They just need some fixing. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding, but I imagine most people don't agree with that sentiment. That's just mine. Frank, one more time, people can follow you on the socials, more specifically Twitter, at Big Frank Red. They can subscribe to 2 YouTube channels. The visual here on YouTube highlights In the Dungeon Show, but you also have Frank Red Music. That's available on YouTube. Any final thoughts before we go?
Just a pleasure to be on your show. Thank you.
Pleasure's all mine, brother.
And,
Pleasure's all mine.
And look forward to the next opportunity. So, and all the supporters of Golden Days continue to support this man and blow it up.
Thank you.
It's already big. Make it bigger, and giving the Dungeon a chance. Tune in on Sunday nights and see if you like it.
Hell yeah, man. Shard, I'll have fun at the Kings. I was going to originally go to the Kings game, but this is not worth it. I decided, I'm like, what am I going for, man? These games don't mean shit. Right. You know, if I'm gonna go next year. I wanted to get a Golden One experience, but it's not going to happen tomorrow. But Shardall's going, so hope you have fun. To our resident closer and Frank Red, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for a great show. And thanks to the audience for joining us. And we'll be back tomorrow night. Armando Laura tentatively scheduled for a late edition of Friday Happy Hour. Going to have some news pertaining to the Golden State Warriors coaching staff that I heard. And it's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow night is confirming a report that actually came out like 2-3 months ago. Stay tuned. You'll see what I mean tomorrow night. But all right, man. Frank, love you. Thank you. Are we done?
Take care, brother. Yep, we done.
You too, man. You too. Bye-bye.